Hey, thanks for clicking on this one. This is kind of probably the most boring video I've done, but it's kind of interesting, I think, and it leads into a different video that I'm going to do later, and it'll make more sense later. I saw a Reddit post, several actually, asking if these Reproduction M44 goggles were acceptable for airsoft, so I had to look them up. They're not M44 goggles, but that is okay. We'll talk about that a little bit. I got these off just Rothko's website. Epic Militaria carries the same ones. A bunch of people sell them. A lot of them are listed as M44 goggles. I've seen them range from about $22 to $75. That's ridiculous. And these are weird because most of the time things are reproduced because there's not a quantity of originals, or at least the price is so high that you can't afford to get originals. That's not the case on these. The kind of generic military sun, wind, and dust goggles, you can get them on eBay, new surplus in the box for 20 to 30 bucks. And there's quite a few of them. That might not always be the case, but right now it is. So let's go through a little bit of the history. So this is an M44 goggle. They look the same. They're not the same. These came out during the war, late war, just as a kind of general purpose goggle. They're similar to the Air Force's B8 goggle, which was the same except for it had kind of a leather Sherpa lining here. But they were used in all sorts of applications. The M44, you can see that the strap goes through the lens, whereas these, they do not. That was an update in 1974. But these are used from World War II up through 1974 when somebody decided that this was not real smart and we could get a better seal. So these came out in 1974. So most of them, here's an original one. All of them will say the Sun, Wind, and Dust 1974. 1974 is not the year that all of them were made. It's just the model. So they'll all say a year on the right side and then US on the other side. So these were made in 2005. As far as I know, even though the ESS goggles have kind of taken over as ballistic goggles, I think these are still made. If not, they were made up until very recently for the military. So the updated 1974, the changes were the foam and the lenses are a little bit different. So these had a kind of a slit in the lens to go over the straps. And then the updated style, it was just 2 snaps. Didn't have to go over any straps. And the foam was added to get a better seal on your face. This was the case until 1995 when the foam was increased a little bit wider. And then this is kind of boring, but there are 6 types of lenses. Type 1 and Type 2 are these. Type 1, Type 2. They were the thin, non-ballistic, clear and smoke or neutral gray. And then Type 3 and 4 are clear and smoke, but they're ballistic rated, which is not bulletproof. They're just Z87.1, kind of like safety glasses. And then 5 and 6 are for laser protection. You won't usually see those. They're green and brown. But I think in feeling these, I haven't measured them, but they're thicker. They're as thick as these. So I think they are at least, I guess this came with another lens, the thicker 2mm ballistic goggles. I don't think these are ballistic rated, but they're kind of interesting. They've been popular in the military. You can wear them over glasses, which is nice. But another change in 95 was the snaps. These are a lot easier than these. These were a pain to open, but they come with a protective film of some kind on them, which is why they have this kind of opaque view. I think it's just there we go. Yeah. They're not real fancy. They're nothing special. I feel like they're pretty general purpose. You see them all over. They're in Black Hawk Down. You see them in a lot of pictures in the Middle East. Like I said, kind of a boring video, boring goggles, but I'm going to try to use them on something a little bit interesting coming up, I hope. So, like I said, boring video, but let me know what you think.